Hi there, and welcome back to part 2 of Freak the Geek, where we've been discussing Alfred Hitchcock's connection to Steven Spielberg. Our patron, Vern Lindner, asked me to unpack Hitchcock's influences on the first ever summer blockbuster, Jaws. But first, a little background. Spielberg really wanted to meet Hitch, and it should have happened. I mean, seriously, Spielberg was the new star director at Universal Studios. He'd just made a big bloody splash with Jaws. Did you know that Hitch held a 30% stake in Universal? Jaws had done a pretty good job of raising his personal net worth. For his part, Hitch seemed to respect the younger director, and his office bungalow was right there, conveniently located on the studio lot. Yet they never met, not even once. What's up with that? It wasn't for lack of trying on Spielberg's part. Stephen Scochet writes that just as he did 10 years earlier on the set of Torn Curtain, in 1975, Spielberg was once again sneaking into a Hitchcock production, this time the set of Family Plot. Hitch, again, had him bounced. Bruce Dern, who was starring in the film, asked Hitch why he was being so standoffish. Bruce goes, "You're his idol. He just wants to sit at your feet for 5 minutes and chat with you." But Hitch was all, "Isn't that the boy who made the fish movie? I could never sit down and talk to him because I look at him and I feel like such a whore." Bruce asked him why. So Hitch was like, "Because I'm the voice of the Jaws ride at the Universal Studios theme park. They paid me $1 million and I took it and I did it. I'm such a whore. I can't sit down and talk to the boy who did the fish movie. I couldn't even touch his hand." During that time, Hitch was shilling for Universal quite a bit, and some of his appearances haven't exactly aged well.
Good evening. Welcome to Universal Studios, where you learn Hollywood secrets. And now you'll learn the secrets of the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman on the Universal Studios tour.
Okay, so moving on to Jaws itself. I'd go so far as to say that Spielberg's breakout film was a full-on homage to Hitchcock. For instance, we have the mayor who's afraid of the water, rendering him useless just when he's needed most.
We know all about you, Chief. You don't go in the water at all, do you?
Some bad hat, Harry.
Kind of reminds me of Vertigo's Scotty, who, thanks to his acrophobia, fails to protect Madeline Elster. In both cases, Hitchcock's famous dolly zoom shot is used to subjectifies their anxieties. The first death in Jaws parallels Marion's death in Psycho, when a young blonde woman goes to her watery death in a sexualized yet murderous frenzy. That scene is kind of sexy, kind of kinky, and like the shower scene from Psycho, we never see the shark's teeth touch her skin. The violence takes place entirely in our mind.
Oh God! Oh God!
Okay, so that's all been noted before. However, what hasn't been commented on, at least from what I've seen, is that right after the shark attack, we see a final shot of the moon hovering over the calm water. And it matches almost exactly the final view in The Rape of Marnie aboard the cruise ship, not to mention the still and calming mood in the final shot of the Psycho murder. Because the mechanical shark rarely worked like it should, Spielberg had to make a tough call. He said, "I had no choice but to figure out how to tell the story without the shark. So I just went back to Hitchcock. What would Hitchcock do in a situation like this?" He concluded, "It's what we don't see, which is truly frightening." That solution is pure Hitchcock. The parallels run deeper. For example, the movie's town of Amity is a microcosm, a sort of cross-section of humanity, much like the communities that Hitchcock explored in Santa Rosa for Shadow of a Doubt, and in Bodega Bay for The Birds. Small towns whose paralyzing stability and complacency are visited by an unexplainable menace that's been hiding in plain sight. No wonder scholar Wieland Schwanebeck wrote, "It is tempting to approach Jaws as the greatest Hitchcock film not directed by Alfred Hitchcock himself." Not only that, but Jaws also influenced Hitchcock. It was after hearing John Williams' ominous score for that film that he tapped the composer to provide the soundtrack for Family Plot.
Mr. Hitchcock had his office here at Universal Studios. And so he apparently needed a composer for this Family Plot, and the executive those years in charge of music was a gentleman called Harry Garfield. So it was Harry Garfield who recommended me as a newcomer, just having done Jaws, a very successful film, to Mr. Hitchcock. And I went to see him at his office, and we had lunch and had a chat, and I left, not knowing if he would engage me to do this or not. And then I got a call from Mr. Garfield the next day and said, "Hitchcock, yes, he would like you to do the score."
So there you have it, and I've just skimmed the surface of Hitchcock's mark on Jurassic Park, Jaws, and Spielberg himself. Thank you, Ben and Vern, for reaching out with your questions. Now, what movie would you like to freak me with next?
Steven Spielberg versus Alfred Hitchcock!
Picture a child sitting next to a projector, learning from your films to become a much better director. Now picture a $3 billion dream machine who can blockbust all over your crop just to see. Try to do it with me, Alfred, you must be psycho. I'll bring back Jaws and take a bite of your lifeboat. I'm always so on top of my game, I get the vertigo. My jet's in the terminal, waiting for me to murder ya. I rock the Academy and the DGA. You rock as many Oscars as that schlep Michael Bay. Next time you're filling up those jowls with 3 steaks and souffle. Check the trade, see me amble to my next big play. I produce cartoons and make games for all ages. You produce Jimmy Stewart making one of 2 faces. Maybe next time I visit you'll be a bit more gracious. Now kiss my full moon and just bask in my greatness.
That was a close encounter of the turd kind. But there won't be a pretty ending this time. Half your billion should go to John Williams. Now brace yourself as I reveal my brilliance. I'm the master of suspense so intense, no defense against Hitchcock once he presents. My skill is enormous, orchestrating brilliant performance. You're more horrible than Megan Fox's acting in Transform. Come on! Fist puppets and muppets to stir the fears up. I squeeze screams out of chocolate syrup. I'm the best mamma jammer ever stood behind the camera. Damage panderers and haunt you like the last Indiana.